I am not making this up. I wish I were kidding, but Pete Hegseth is currently crashing out on the White House lawn during their Easter ceremony. And look at this. Let me zoom in because he has one sideburn here that goes down to roughly the bottom of his ear, if you can see that. But then when Pete Hegseth turns, for some reason his other sideburn is completely shaved off. And you know, like, it's not really a huge deal, but I have done this before. And it was one time after a college party when I was trying to shave and I was drunk. This has happened one time when I was trying to shave drunk, so I'm not going to make any assumptions, but how Pete Hegseth has been acting over the past few weeks and months, and even in this video, leads me to ask some questions. I'm just asking some questions, and I'm not the only one. I mean, look at this meme that was posted by the official Democrat Twitter account. I was absolutely dying. This is named The Democrats, the Twitter account, and they said, @Pete Hegseth needs to go. Pete Hegseth says, your agenda is illegals, trans, and DEI, all of which are no longer allowed at the Department of Defense. And the Democrats responded, Pete's point of view, and it's his phone just incredibly blurry. When I say the Democratic Party needs a little bit more of a punch, this is actually exactly what I mean. Slightly edgy jokes that are only at the expense of people in power. When I say that we should be edgy, I'm never saying we should make jokes about minorities or whatever like right-wingers do. I mean, you could make edgy jokes and also be punching up and be effective politically with it. I think that's a pretty solid example. If you see where I'm going with that, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you comment some blue hearts, and let's continue. Before I play this Pete Hegseth clip, let me remind you, Representative Andy Ogles tweeted out this morning, deep state leakers inside the Pentagon are trying to sabotage the Secretary of Defense. They're terrified of the bold, America First reforms President Trump is delivering. The DC cartel is in full-blown panic mode. Their desperation says it all. We're winning, and history will prove us right. Okay, there's a lot of inverse reality happening here. The DC cartel, if you want to talk about the DC cartel, y'all have all of the power right now. You have the presidency, you have Congress, you have the House, the Senate. I would even argue that you have the Supreme Court on your side, even though they are kind of disagreeing with Trump lately. But then Ron Filipkowski says, the deep state leakers are the people Hegseth brought in to work with him. And this is the main core point that I'll be making throughout this video. When I play this video of Pete Hegseth ranting on the White House lawn about how the media is attacking him and about how disgruntled former employees are trying to sabotage him, that is not true. He is the one who's disgruntled. There has been a pattern of former employees being smeared as they leave the Department of Defense, and these deep state agents that they're referring to are literally Pentagon spokespeople and Pentagon aides that Hegseth chose. So about a week ago, the Pentagon spokesperson resigned, and multiple people were either fired or resigned as well. Longtime allies of Pete Hegseth left. And you can safely assume the reason why this happened is because when the New York Times is reporting on a story, like the one that broke last night, they reach out for quotes. They'll reach out to the Department of Defense and all of these top officials. So I'm assuming people underneath Pete Hegseth got wind of this story and thought, I can't defend this shit. This is way too far. So when Pete Hegseth says, disgruntled former employees in this video, I just want to point out that that is wrong. It is a lie, and it's a complete red herring. So stay tuned and let's watch this video.
What do you want to say, sir, about the signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. And on hoaxes, time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people.
Okay, there's more to play, but something about his tone here feels very unhinged to me. He's not hinged in this video. Someone in the comments said, Pete Hegseth blaming the media at an Easter event is like setting your kitchen on fire, then yelling at the smoke alarm for being dramatic. You don't get to leak war plans in a group chat and then act shocked when journalists treat it like news instead of just brunch gossip. He's also trying to discredit the people that leaked this story, but the people that leaked this story were handpicked by him and worked with him until a week ago, until they learned about this.
And ruin their reputations. Not gonna work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm
Old news, bro, please. The gaslighting is insane. By old news, you mean something that happened like 31 days ago. Please.
Happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, this is what we're doing it for.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I didn't even realize he was crashing out in front of his kids. I knew he had kids, but I didn't realize that those were his kids standing right behind him during all of this. Lord have mercy.
Old news?
Dude, even his son is like, Dad, isn't it early for Dad to be drinking his no-no juice?
Doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters.
I mean, dude, come on. You want to talk about people's sons and daughters? What about the sons and daughters that you put at risk when you carelessly sent war plans, strike plans, hours before they happened in unsecure group chats? Right now he's virtue signaling or grandstanding or whatever you want to call it by acting like, oh, he's morally superior. All of the liberals don't want a safe country. They don't want our kids to be safe. It's the exact opposite.
This group, no, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with access to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story.
This is going to sound really weird for me to say, but hearing people like Pete Hegseth or JD Vance, or whenever I see Vivek Ramaswamy try to do this weird MAGA spin where they attack the media, makes me realize that no one can really do it like Trump. And that's not me complimenting Trump, trust me. But when he was doing this for the past 8 years, he at least seems like he's shameless enough to do it and mean it. Pete Hegseth, I feel like deep down somewhere there's a little bit of shame that you can feel. The same with JD Vance. When JD Vance is attacking the media, I can just smell he reeks like shame when he does it. Trump is shameless. Nobody can attack the media and be as shameless as Trump. And don't mistake that as me complimenting him. But let's continue.
And when we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm gonna go roll some Easter eggs.
I'm pretty sure his son's crying because look at this.
News story. And when we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm gonna go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much.
I don't even know what to say other than we need to hold Pete Hegseth accountable. We need to hold the entire admin accountable for their insane mistakes, whether it's Kilmar, whether it's tariffs, or whether it's Pete Hegseth. So if you want to continue the movement, if you want to join this resistance that we're building daily, make sure you drop a like. Hit that subscribe button. We were one of the fastest growing YouTube channels in Q1, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that because a comeback is possible. We are right now rebuilding the party, and you are helping. And really quickly, you've probably heard the term flooding the zone. It's when there are so many stories coming out that you're overwhelmed and you just can't keep track. And that's Trump's intentional strategy. Steve Bannon said you can hide your corruption if you just have a bunch of stories coming out. Then people miss stories like this one. Trump quietly reversed a rule that banned lobbyists from giving gifts or joining the government. The only reason I caught this was thanks to Ground News and their blind spot feature. It highlighted that not many people on the right are covering this story. Not many publications are talking about this, and that's why I keep partnering with Ground News. Even if they weren't sponsoring and helping my independent journalism, I'd still use it because it's a great tool. It's a great tool to have at your disposal. They have an app and a website that pull in every source covering every story. Then they show you the political bias of every single source. They show you the factual reliability and, most importantly, who's funding them. Because let's be real, with all the stories coming out, you can get overwhelmed. And unless you're tracking it using something like Ground News and their blind spot feed, then you'll get lost in all of the chaos. So rather than getting lost in the chaos, I have a massive discount for you. You can get nearly half off of the Unlimited Vantage plan that I use for just $5 a month. Not bad. You can be in control of your news. Go click the link in the description below. Again, you can get half off if you click the link in the description below for ground.news. Go check it out. Thank you all.